Welcome back to Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we take a midweek break from, covering all the gaming stuff to take a look at what else is going on in the world of Linux. And also, it's a slightly less cussy show than our normal joint on Saturday night. I'm Vince Stone, joined every week from Portugal.
Hello!
European correspondent, and actually, guess who woke up this week? Matthew Commandon.
Yeah, from Los Angeles.
From LA, and he's beautifully
from France to Los Angeles.
Space LA and
from
France.
Los Angeles, France.
It's
right?
very confusing with these people, but Pedro, why don't we just go ahead and get into it like we do every week?
Yeah, and actually Strider picked the first story. So Strider, you want to give us a quick summary of this?
Microsoft just released version 1.0 of Visual Studio Code this week.
What?
So what is it? It's basically a code editor.
It's a text editor. Don't sugarcoat it. It's a text editor.
It's a text editor, yeah. It's branded under the Visual Studio, but it has little to do with it. It's more similar to other text editors like Adobe's Brackets or GitHub's Atom, mainly targeted at JavaScript developers. It's itself coded in JavaScript, actually. Not JavaScript, but more exactly TypeScript, which is the strongly typed language made by Microsoft that gets transpiled into JS.
So basically what you're telling me, somebody put a GTK front end on Nano. That's brilliant. What's up next?
Up next, we have a teeny tiny bit of internet drama.
Oh, boy.
If you're into that type of thing.
So much drama.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You might remember Necro from a while back. It was one of those games that when it first showed up in early access, it was actually pretty good. It was almost feature complete, and most of the levels were already in there. They were just looking for a feedback from the community so they could wrap up the game. Mm-hmm. That was 2 years ago. 3 years ago now.
Brad. All right.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago now, and it kind of died. The development on that kind of stopped. There were no updates for a while, and we didn't hear anything. Then one of the programmers said, oh yeah, I'm the last person working on this game, and I have some family issues that I need to look into right now. So, yeah, the game's going to be dead for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And now, or yesterday...
Well, I mean, if you want to tie this together, I mean, to get a proper time frame on, he made that post in December of 2015. The last update before that to the game was in June of 2015. Yes. So there was that much radio silence. Then it just fell off radio silence up until about 6 days ago. And what happened, Pedro?
Yeah, until one of the guys that supposedly owns half of Dark Forge LLC said that that developer guy, Scott, was apparently taking 100% of the revenue, and he wasn't working on the game. He stopped working on the game and kept taking 100% revenue. He had sort of agreed to that a while back when he was the last person that was actually working on the game. All right, so you're the only one working. You get to take all the money. And then he stopped working on it, and he kept taking all the money, according to the RK Seed. And instead of actually posting an announcement on some website or something, no, he posted a Steam review describing the situation in some very broad strokes.
I think you got to be fair about that, because he had, according to him, this is all hearsay, so he's been locked out of the account. So the only way he can, and we do know the other side of this, there's no point of him trying to even post anything in the forums, because we've seen the Streisand effect kicking in the forums, where the other guy's just deleting everything he mildly disagrees with. But the only way he could get this up there, because developers cannot delete or edit reviews. So that's why he posted.
This whole thing, because again, both of the sides are painting this story with very broad strokes. Mm-hmm. We don't know any of the specifics. They're glossing over the specifics on purpose. Anyone can tell that just by reading this. And if there was an actual breach of contract, why is he posting drama on the internet instead of going to his lawyer and going, hey, you want to make a bunch of money? Because this is how we make a bunch of money.
Tell us why, Strider.
Yeah, I don't think they're being totally honest. Like, I don't trust any of those guys. But yeah, at the end of the day, who cares? I mean, they didn't ship the game. It wasn't a massively anticipated game, and it didn't work out. I mean, too bad for them. And I don't really care about the public drama that's going on about this game. And they should have like some decency and just take care of their nasty business, like in private. That would be better for everyone, I guess.
Well, you see, you're missing the point. Empty got it correct. This is their stealth attempt at marketing.
Yeah.
Well,
any publicity is good publicity.
They removed
right?
the game from the store, so they don't sell it.
Yeah, they can sell it at this point. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing is like what the guy said earlier is that he's like, we could never, with our Kickstarter money, hope to finish the game. And I was like, you shouldn't have said that in public.
Oh no, it takes millions of dollars.
Well, right. I mean, outside of that, one of the biggest things to brain about is like, so you actively said you were going to fund this with your Kickstarter, not mention that you needed additional funding, but you went with a low goal so you get a Kickstarter. That's fraud, Brad. I hate to break that to you, but who knows? What's up next?
Snapcraft. Snappy.
Ooh, Snap.
Snappy Snapcraft.
Oh, Snap.
Which will ship on Ubuntu 16.04, which is to be released this week, like in 1 or 2 days.
No one cares.
I do care. I run it.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. So what is Snapcraft? It's a way to package apps, software, in another way, which is not deb packages. And it allows to be like quite independent for the system. You don't have to rely on the system libraries. You don't have to worry that stuff breaks.
Strider, are you telling me I can have multiple copies of different libraries scattered throughout my entire system? This sounds exciting. Tell me more.
Yeah, it is. It is. It ensures that like you can ship stuff on your desktop, your mobile, like on a whole bunch of platforms, and stuff works. And I think that's a neat idea. I mean, there are like major problems with shipping software on Linux. And I had the chance of talking with the Snapcraft developer a couple of months ago at scale. And yeah, and playing with a bit with Snappy. And it's really interesting. But what would make this more interesting is to have it available on all Linux distros, not just Ubuntu. And that's the major problem right now.
So you're saying Snap is only going to be compatible with Mir?
Currently, more or less.
Because that whole idea of having, a package manager available across multiple distros is great until you realize that we currently have whatever Arch is using, whatever OpenSUSE is using, whatever Ubuntu was using before Snappy, whatever Fedora is using. Yeah, I mean that's working out really well.
It's not based on anything Ubuntu specific. The only thing it depends on is AppArmor. So it's not only...
Or it's already Ubuntu specific because any distribution worth its name is currently using SE Linux.
Yeah, so all the distributions using SE Linux...
Oh, dang, man. You just like went and got a crane, got on top of the crane, and dropped the mic from there.
I mean, Debian is using AppArmor as well. And I think...
Is it?
Yeah, I think only Fedora and CentOS are using SE Linux.
And Slackware,
Arch
and everything that depends on Slackware.
AppArmor. There's a bunch of distros using AppArmor at this point.
Well, so, yeah. I mean, prepare yourself because it is coming. 1604 LTS. Hopefully they'll release SteamOS like out of beta so I can just run that and go back to Fedora and I never have to see the filthy animal. But let's talk about input.
There are 14 competing standards.
Mm-hmm.
What we should unify them. No, there are 15 competing standards. Yeah, the Unity guys, instead of, doing the reasonable, logical thing of implementing SDL2 and integrating it properly, they decided to recreate it from scratch, as it were. They developed their own middleware for handling input. It's just input, yeah. They created their own thing, which I am guessing it's totally based on SDL, but this is just a guess. We can't see the sauce, so we can't be sure.
Well,
but chances are even the real implementation will be worse than SDL proper.
The article says they have a low-level library running in C++ and a higher level using C#. So I guess it's not SDL, which is
well,
bad
the low-level stuff might be based on the SDL implementation.
Part of it maybe, yeah, but I'm guessing not.
Probably not.
Yeah, this is Unity. They're like, what's the most backwards way we could go about doing this? Brilliant. Strider, what's up with this? I mean, it's closed source. We can't play with. Why not use something, like X input handling? I mean, they needed to address this issue since forever ago, like 3 years ago, whenever we started dealing with it. That's where we have a thing on our weekend show, Linux Gamecast Weekly. We call it the Unity screen of nope when that pops up, because you just toss the controller away. There's no point of even trying.
The thing is,
why aren't they doing what Unreal Engine 4 is doing with, like sanity and peace?
Yeah, that would be like the better solution, and apparently they decided to roll their own implementation. I mean, if it does work, I have no problem with it, but they didn't say anything about the cross-platform consistency in their article, which is the main problem here, because usually the games, they have like proper inputs under Windows, and when you get them
they
under
don't
Linux,
exactly have proper input.
And you can see the wiki page on the Unity websites about inputs, and you can see clearly that the Windows controller is different from the OS X controller and different from the Linux controller. So did they do anything to address this? Or is this still a mess between platforms?
Yeah. Thing is, on Windows, the only controller that actually works 100% of the time is the Xbox 360 controller.
If they get this working, at least under Linux, that would be great. That would be a good starting point. If they can get like all the other controllers as well, that's even better.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it somewhere around 2023 when this rolls out and is 100% functional. So
that's a conservative estimate. But
if we stop having stuff like Road Redemption, which is totally broken right now,
they still haven't fixed that.
I checked a couple of weeks ago, and it was still massively broken. I mean, you had to press the start button to accelerate.
No. In all fairness, the game itself is massively broken as well. But you're just talking about the controls, right?
Yeah, just the controls.
Okay. What's up next?
All right, up next, that website from the 90s, according to Reddit anyway, has provided a hardware resources list of where you can find all of your Linux stores that you can go down to and buy your own Linux PC.
I'm not playing favorites, but I'm glad Penguin is up top.
Yeah. Although I still think Dell should be right below Penguin, but that's just me. Yeah, they have a bunch of different OEMs. Well, OEMs, they only have the one, which is Dell, and a bunch of other third-party sellers that they load up Linux onto some laptops that they get. Vens showing you Think Free there. They actually load up, I think it's Lenovo or the old IBM laptops, and they...
Oh, I like the Ministry of Freedom because they LibreBoot in place of the traditional BIOS, and all right.
Yeah. They replace it with LibreBoot, and they... I think there was one of them that actually refurbished everything. I'm not sure if it was the Ministry of Freedom or...
Well, I mean, just with that, man, those laptops should come with a beard and katanas, man. I mean,
Stallman endorsed, and they come with Triskel, so yeah, totally Stallman endorsed.
I don't know, Strider. Is it worth these days buying a pre-installed Linux box with a warranty?
I mean,
and
it's nice to have the option, and if you really want to have something that will work in the Linux. But the problem is that these resellers, they often sell overpriced or very outdated hardware. So, I mean, I understand that these are really small companies and they really can't compete with the big ones. Except Dell. Dell is huge and they still manage not to be competitive. Like there was the review last week from the XPS 13 and it's still overpriced. So, I mean, and also, where's Lenovo? Why is Lenovo not offering Linux support for their ThinkPads?
Because no one uses Linux on the desktop. No,
totally.
And
Never heard of those guys.
Their spyware somehow as well.
Right. I mean, ding, 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 right there when you really think about it, because, a lot of the price of the lappies are subsidized by the bloatware and shovelware that's put in there to try to get you to subscribe to their services. But what is coming up next is a fan-based parody. We encourage you to support the official release, because we're talking about a quad-core Atom-based Raspberry Pi lookalike, and it's ready to roll into your face. No, this is not that horrible little tablet. This is a completely different thing. And actually, I mean, starting at $89, you get an x86 quad-core with a gig of RAM. Pedro, think about it, man.
2, isn't it 2, the minimum?
Was it 2
gigs?
I don't know. The only one I really had my interest was the 4 gigabyte model, which is available for $149. And I was like, yeah. You got my attention.
The chance between 1 and 2. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, right. This thing's running on about, I think, 5 volts. Strider, is this good news, bad news? Does this anger and confuse you?
I mean, it would make a nice motherboard for a Lutris console. For running old wine games or native
USB 3.0, all right, yeah.
x86 games. But really, I don't see any other application, especially at this price, because you can run practically everything under ARM for cheaper, like
except x86 stuff.
Yeah, but those are mainly games, right? Yeah. I don't see anything that couldn't run like web servers or stuff like this.
Yeah, because, what does this have? This has a quad-core Cherry Trail, so 1.44 gigahertz, 1.92 gigahertz boost. I don't think we'll be seeing these in the next release of Alienware Steam machines. But,
maybe the one after that. But yeah,
what I like is all these constructors. Like not only this one, but all the Raspberry Pi lookalikes, they decided to set the form factor to the same thing as the Raspberry Pi. So in some way,
that's a smart idea, though, because then you can get reuse out of all the cases you have laying around.
Yeah, you reuse the cases, and if you build custom hardware, then you can hot swap practically like the one hardware for the other, try different things. Like you don't have to rebuild all your hardware based on what you use for the motherboard.
The thing about this one is it's pricey. They start out at like $80 for the weakest of all models that comes with 1 gigabyte of RAM and just the base stuff. It does come with a SSD. It comes with a 32 gigabytes SSD. eMMC flash, yes. 16 at the base version, and 32 if you want to go up that high. And you also have the, if you want to use a memory card, you can still do that. But what they need to do is to bring the base version down to, say, Pi 3 level, around $40. They bring that down, and then maybe at that point, people who actually want to buy a Raspberry Pi Zero, like me, can actually get one and not run into, oh, we're out of stock the moment they get the email that they're back in stock.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if they really want to start shipping these things, they need to, get with it and include a free copy of Windows 10.
How's that tablet you have working out for you?
Anything to get people Windows 10. So yeah, probably.
All right. Well, let's talk about a hackable weight tracking text messaging scale with a sense of humor. What? Yes, it's a thing. Kind of talking about Raspberries. This guy is like, you know what? I'm going to take the Wii board, which apparently... Not really. I mean, the maximum weight on that is 149 kilos, so about 330 imperial pounds.
Scumbag pounds.
Right. So I'm not that heavy, but I'm about 280. So that's basically like me with a bag of groceries. And it's not that it will break. If it detects that, there's all these like massive forums of like people who wanted to use it and they felt like leaning a chair on it or something like that to get it to activate and hack's way around it. But hopefully you won't be dealing with that. But if you are, there's ways around it. So don't worry about this. But yeah, taking this thing and making a scale that will remind you that you should not have had the entire thing of ice cream the previous night. And you can actually, set it up to with the Internet of Things with tweets, and you can get it to text you, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I was wondering.
That's what I was looking for, the glitter pencil. And
that's cute. That's cute, the glitter pencil. To keep it connected through Bluetooth. But yeah, I was wondering why this tutorial was pushing like really hard to get the data sent to a cloud service.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to send it like remotely? And then I realized that the publisher of this tutorial was the maker of this cloud service, like the provider. It's Initial States, and they do provide the cloud service.
Well, you got to imagine, I mean, if you created a cloud service and you had it was your company, you probably really were into that type of thing, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're trying to provide people with some application for their service, which is kind of neat. One thing is that they do provide the SMS notification, and currently it's free, but it's currently in alpha. So maybe once it's out of alpha, it might get like a paid service because no one gets SMS for free.
Or, I mean, instead of like digging around finding all these parts, you can buy a $70 scale that tweets out of the box. Pedro?
Yeah. Those already exist. I don't know. It's the Internet of Things is it's a fledgling thing, and there's a bunch of people trying different things. Honestly, I don't see the practical use of this. Yeah, it's fun as a. I actually no. I can't see it. I honestly
Think
can't
about
see
it. I mean, if you're teaching, punish your students with this. It will be in the show notes along with everything.
Yeah, totally. Just get an entire class to get this working.
But good news, everyone.
Awesome news, yeah. Next is the EFF telling us that the House of Representatives has voted a bill that could endanger the net neutrality. And basically what this is, it's HR 2666.
Pick up sticks.
And what this does, it prevents the FCC from regulating the rates of broadband internet provider. So this sounds like a great thing, right? But not so much, because here, like especially in the US, the ISPs and all these people are known to do like sketchy things and abusing the customers. And I read some of the linked articles, and they said that they did some quite abusive things, like for people who were in prisons. They overcharge people like way too much. What this bill could do is prevent that from happening. So,
Well, the thing here is, in the US at least, there's an oligopoly of ISPs that's basically controlling what broadband means. We keep
Best
seeing
legislation money can buy.
Yeah, we keep seeing that every single week in the news. It's like Verizon or AT&T or Comcast going, yeah, no, broadband means you get 5 megabits of internet download speed, and that's it. Now, Strider actually brought a good point up in the news. Could Google perhaps break the oligopoly? Yes, yes, they could. Thing is, those ISPs are kicking up a fuss whenever Google tries to move in on their turf. You see news about that just about every month. And if this bill were to pass, it would also be pretty bad outside of the U.S. because of the precedent it sets. Oh, yeah, the U.S., those guys are basically controlling what people are doing with their internet service, so we should totally do it. And it is the U.S. we're talking about, so thankfully, there is someone with a modicum of common sense at the head of the country, and President Obama has actually said that he will veto this the moment that it comes across his desk.
Yes, but
thank you.
We're only going to have that until Hillary gets in. Oh, shots fired. What?
Hopefully they won't bring it back up. Okay. But yeah, speaking of sketchy things happening on the internet, Chrome extensions will soon have to tell you what data they collect. Yes, because if you installed any Chrome extension up to this point, you basically just went to the Chrome store and you hit install and you didn't get an idea of what exactly they were taking, what sort of information they were taking from you as you used your browser with that extension installed. Now they will have to tell you exactly what kind of data they will. And honestly, in my opinion, it took them long enough.
Well, my first thought is, isn't this going to be interesting to see how many of your favorite extensions that you've been using all this time just disappear from the store?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a very good thing, because really not enough people know that with each extension you install, you give access to your whole browser to some rando on the internet, and you could give them your browsing history, your bookmarks, your cookies,
your
everything.
Passwords, your credit cards,
everything,
whatever.
Everything you have on your browser, you give them access with each extension you install.
Wait a minute, are you saying I should not have downloaded the Yellow Swag 420 YouTube video downloader plugin?
Probably not. And you probably should use YouTube DL to do that.
Hi. 420.
Pedro Mateus, ladies and gentlemen, but don't worry about it. It's just a prank, bro. Just a prank. Don't get angry at me, because the man who deleted his entire company, well, about that, Brad, with that line of code, that's brilliant. Turns out it was a hoax. Stack Overflow said it was not particularly amused, Governor. Yeah. This is a hoax by a blank troll. Yeah, definitely. But the most interesting thing about this is what I cannot genuinely wrap my mind around is, I mean, the guy didn't come out and just say it's just a prank, bro. He's like, yeah, I was just doing it to market my company. He said unironically, lads, how does that work again? I'm not a marketing person. Apparently I go about it all wrong.
Look, any publicity is good publicity. And are you implying that people lie on the internet to get attention? Really?
Probably. But even as a hoax, it's not a really good one, because this couldn't work. There were two things. First thing, it says that you erased everything running the rm-rf/ command, which will never work on a modern system, since you need the no preserve roots parameter to actually do something. And second, it was using Ansible, and Ansible itself has some safeguards to prevent something bad happening. So it was not really believable. but at least it teaches people to sanitize
it absolutely wasn't believable. Anybody looked at that and goes, that wouldn't work. But every PC website was like, oh, look what this guy's done. Silly Linux. Is like, dum-dums. Self-censoring.
The worst thing an RMRF / can do is nuke your home partition. And if you have a web hosting company and you're hosting every single server off of your home partition, just the one, you're doing something wrong.
It was such a completely unbelievable. I mean, if that happened, dude should have went and bought a lottery ticket. All right, because I don't know. I think that's going to take it to the end of the show. We actually did not get any feedback this week, and that makes Pedro a sad panda.
Chat realm. Boo! Seriously.
But if you do want to say anything, scream in our directions, just throw something into the YouTube video comments or just leave a comment on our Patreon page, because this is made possible by you at home, keeping this independent. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. It's a two for the price of one. I mean, you can help out our other show, which is a slightly bit more cussy than this one, but it does cover the latest and greatest in Linux gaming news. But if you want to just get in touch with me, you can always hit me on the Twitter nets at Vinstone or plus Vinstone on the G+.
And you can always find me on Twitter at unaccounted for or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
And you can find me at Striker on Twitter or plus Mathieu Commandant on Google+.
All right, lads, it's been real. Thanks for everyone in Chat Realm for showing up, and we'll be back next Wednesday.
We make no such promises.